Hi, folks. It's Jim from New Hampshire Card Hunters. How you doing tonight? We've got a brand new video for you. Some brand new content here, and we're going to start out opening up some product. And you'll see right here, we've got some 2025 for you. That's Series One, and we've got two blasters, and also we have over here we've got two hangers. You can't quite see them, but they're there. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up one blaster and one hanger in the front part of this video, and on the back half we'll open up in the third part, we'll open up the other blaster and one hanger. And so that'll be leading us off in this video, and in the middle we'll be doing our always popular on the docket. And tonight we are going to be talking about we got a new series we're starting up, and we're calling it the Underachievers. And tonight's first guest is going to be Luis Robert Jr., that we'll be talking about. And we'll also give you a couple of guys that we think are comparable to him, that have also didn't get a lot of, let's say, accolades when they were rookies as players. So we're going to talk about that in the middle segment. But before we get into ripping, we want to do a quick take a look at the checklist here on Series 1 Tops 2025. So let's take a quick look at that. And I hope everybody's doing well tonight. We got the First Lady of Baseball with us, Michelle, to help us out with all the good stuff. All right, let's transition through here. Here we go. Boom. All right, so you can take a look. Let's see what we got about Top Series 1 2025 Tops. Now, it's a 350 card set, and you may have already known that. And what we'll be looking for are things like, the veterans or rookies are the main focus, future stars, league leaders, team cards, that type of thing. As far as parallels go, no longer are the blacks in here, the Father's Day blue, the Mother's Day pink. Those aren't in Top Series 1 2025. They took those out. So if you were thinking about finding those or hoping we'd find one of those, well, I'm sorry to say that that won't be happening. Um, First card versions obviously are in here. Basically, they're intended to indicate the first copies of each card that were produced. And you've seen those in previous releases. Inserts, autographs, memorabilia. We've got 2024 Tops All Team, 2024 Greatest Hits, Ball to the Hall, and Training Grounds. And they come in a number of different foils: orange, black, red. You guys get the idea here. It's pretty much the same on all of these releases. They all have the different parallels that are limited in number. We also have the 1990 is going to be the 35th anniversary. So there'll be some 1990 baseball autographs. And there are gold versions, again, orange, black, red, platinum. And it's a mix of players, past, present, and rookies. Baseball autograph stars, baseball stars autographs. Um, and it says here everyone is fair game on these as far as themes go. So, and there's some duels in there as well. A couple other things. We've got says new to 2025 Toss Baseball with a flagship real one autographs. And they come in the gold foil, orange foil, black foil, red foil, foil factor. Yeah, a lot of stuff there. Huh, Michelle?
Yeah, I got to do something.
Yeah, right. Because if they're going to take out all those other parallels, they got to try to put something else in there. Um, the thing I'm really interested in here, and I've seen a few of these, is called the Rick Wood Auto Relic Collection cards, and those are a little bit tougher to pull. But those are talking about, if you're not familiar with those, Rick Wood Field is down in Alabama. Willie Mays played there. It's a Negro field. Well, it's a field where the Negro ball players played. And of note, Willie Mays was part of that team. So we hopefully, if we get any rare one, I hope we get one of these.
Mm.
And silver packs, obviously, those are just in the jumbos and hobby boxes. And that pretty much covers it, except for the rookies. And we've got a pretty good list of rookies here. We've got Kobe Mayo, Dylan Cruz, Spencer Schwellenbach, Carlos Navarez, Dylan Dingler, James Wood, Rhett Lauder, Brooks Lee, and Ben Rice. So those are your main ones we'll be looking for in this in Series 1. So we'll see what we can find. And transition back here, and we'll get things underway. All right, so let's set one of these aside. Let's set a blaster box aside, and let's get going.
I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day. Hope we set aside some time to reflect and remember the people that gave all, and hope the heck we don't produce a whole lot more of them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had my grandfather and two uncles that served in World War II, and my uncle Sonny and my grandfather, they both served in the Navy, and they were in the battle of the invasion of Sicily. They were also in the invasion of North Africa, and so these guys were very familiar with wartime, and they saw a lot of action. My grandfather was torpedoed off the ship that he was on, and if it hadn't been for one of his crewmates, I might not be here today.
Mm-hmm.
So so he saved him. He got the Purple Heart for that, and I want to give a shout out to all veterans. Whether you served in Vietnam, whether you're serving currently now, whether you served just recently and now you're retired from the armed services, we give you a shout out. We appreciate your service, and we hope you're doing well and continue to do well. All right, let's get into this first box. So, just one note here. There are, let's see, okay, 7 packs, 12 cards per pack, so 84 cards total in that. And then in your hanger boxes, we got 59 cards. So one additional note, and which is the best part of our openings here, is that everything you see here, everything we open, no matter what it is, autograph, relic, superfractor, whatever, doesn't matter. We're giving it all away. That's the best part. No strings attached. Just have a PayPal account. Leave a comment with the word drawing in there. We're going to give away. We're going to have 2 winners tonight. I think there's say 84 and 59. That's what 139. Is that right? 84. I don't know. Whatever. 84 and 50. 134. 143. 143. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that. 143. My mind's a little mushed. We just got back from being up north, but so we're gonna have 2 winners, and we'll break up the hits into in the parallels, whatever we get. So each person gets something of value or equal value. So not one person will get everything and the other person nothing. Whatever relics or autographs or special interests we get, we'll break them up. All right, so so you don't have to be a Patreon member, you don't have to be a channel member, you don't have to do anything special, you don't even have to be a subscriber. Just come watch our videos. If it's something you like, put a comment in.
Mention the word drawing. That's all you need to do.
That's it.
And then we'll randomly select. Once we get 10, we'll randomly select someone to win
The goodie
bin.
The goodie bin. And it's funny. Whoop, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I see all these other guys out there. They're always saying, "Oh well, come put in. You don't have to get in a break or nothing." A lot of these guys will say, "Well, if you get in a break, we'll you get in for every spot you get in, you get a free pack." You don't do any of that here, and rightly so. Right? Our investment is your gain. All right, pack number 1. Here we go. Miguel Vargas and Alec Boehm, Drew Thorpe. I don't know where I think must be about the 7th or 8th card. Maybe it was where the
Let's
insert
see.
is. Ty France, Future Stars. There's Ellie. That's a pretty good shot of him.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. Let's see.
That's a weird shot.
Yeah, incoming slam dunk talent. Look at those guys, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird card.
Yeah, that's the Guardians, Dad.
That's just a weird card.
Is
Sorry.
is that Quan? I think so. Yeah. All right. Andrew Vaughn, Marcel Osuna, and Freddie Peralta. Pretty good pitcher for the Brewers. Zach Wheeler.
Speaking of good pitchers.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler. He mowed us down in that first game of the series in Philly. Yeah. And Christian Mena. And we got last but not least, Corey Seager of MLB fan. Stars of MLB. Grandeur. All right.
Okay, not much there, but
No.
that's all right.
Not much in the first pack. You know what I have seen come out of these blaster boxes is the one main insert that I've seen a lot of them come out of there is the home field advantage. What's this here? Oh yeah, we get these things. These are the spring training ones here. Yeah, this is the must be the Florida ones. Grapefruit. What's it say in the back? Oh. I can't remember what these are called, but there you go. It's Cameron Misner.
Misner?
Cameron Misner for the Rays. Yeah, I've seen him. All right. And Marco Gonzalez, Greg Jones, rookie, followed by Jordan Beck and Jackson Merrill. That's a rookie cop. That's a good shot of Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of tailed off a little bit. And
Aaron
there's our boy, Aaron Judge. Yeah, you got to get these just in the right light because they're a little metallic looking here.
Yeah, that bottom part.
Yeah, the bottom part, Aaron Judge. Here come the Judge. Nacho Alvarez. It's a good name.
Nacho.
Yeah.
He only plays well on Tuesdays, though.
Right.
Taco Tuesdays.
Nat Lowe. What we got here? Atlanta Braves, National League. Boy, talk about the Braves, huh?
Wow.
What a start they're off to.
Man.
Will Brennan. I mean, that team's loaded again, as usual. Dylan Cease. Now with Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we got here? What's this?
Oh, a Rafi.
And this is Grapefruit League. Insert. Yeah, Rafi. Nothing real special here, but it's interesting enough. And then Stars of MLB, James Wood. He's off to a pretty good start too for the Nats. I mean they're playing pretty well. They took 2 out of 3 from the Braves just in this last series. So, and I don't know how many Red Sox fans are out there, but we've been on in our last video we were on Cora Watch for a while, and he finally got the axe, which we're not upset about. Chad Tracy took over, who was the AAA coach, and I applauded the move, and I think Michelle, you did too, right? I mean, this guy.
Cora was the only one who had left that hadn't been let go, and I think he needed to go. Yeah.
Well,
they needed some new blood. I think he was a lightning rod in my opinion, and I think he needed to. I won't get too into it, but
well,
yeah.
I mean, all I would say is that everybody was fired over the last 2-3 years except for Cora. They fired the GM. They fired the pitching coach, the bench coach, all of
everybody.
the,
Hitting coach.
first base coach, third
Everything.
base coach. Everybody got fired except for this guy. And like I said, I thought
They gave him abundant
oh my
chances.
God. I mean, that they made every excuse they could for this guy. And then I was telling people, I said, well, this year, this year started, I said, well, if the Red Sox go 12-20, do they starting the season out? Do they fire Cora? And two or three of the guys said, well, I don't know because they haven't fired him yet. I said, well, I think they're going to fire him. And sure enough, I mean, it wasn't 12-20, but it was pretty close.
Yeah,
It was like,
it
I don't
was
know, it was
close.
like 11-17 or something like that when they fired him. And look, I think for the record, I think Chad Trace is a pretty good manager. And
He's very calm.
and he's got the experience, right? I mean, he
He's getting
understands
there.
baseball. He's got that knowledge base that helps him as a manager because he was a player for so long. And most of the managers played in some capacity in either the minors, the majors, or both. But Tracy seems to be, because his father was a former major league manager as well. I think he has that extra advantage of having his father being a manager and learning from him and conversations with him over the years, right?
He's a pleasure to listen to after the game
Oh yeah,
because he just that he has eat, drank, slept baseball
no question,
all of his life.
no question.
And you ask a question, he doesn't dodge it.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard him say, "We know where we at,"
Ugh,
which was the canned
ugh,
response every time with
killing me.
Cora. Now it's very thoughtful, intelligent, well put together,
And well thought out,
and well thought out answers.
no doubt. Yep.
And he doesn't dodge if there's, some kind of negative towards what, or what some people might think of as negative towards what he's done.
Yep.
He doesn't dodge or deflect.
Yep.
You
Well,
know,
there's just
he
a lot of
he takes ownership.
yeah. There's a lot of insight there as
And
well.
yeah,
I mean,
so I
he'll
think he's going to do well as the season progresses if he's given,
right.
the rest of the season.
What
for
I
sure.
what I like about him is that he seems to go a level or two deeper in his explanations. He doesn't give you like vanilla explanations of why he didn't send this guy or why he took this guy out or why he didn't pinch hit for this guy. He gives you the whole
The thought
scenario and process behind that and what his thinking is and why he did or did not or didn't feel or did feel the need to do what he did. Right. So,
It's refreshing.
yep. Next pack, Anthony Rendon, Ronel Blanco, Mitch Garver.
You got the angle
Yeah, I got the
just
angle
right
just right.
until
Yeah,
that one.
until that one. Well, some of these
I
are
know some of them are
darker.
darker. Yeah,
I can't even. There it is.
Misner.
Oh yeah, there's Misner again. That's the second time we've seen him in the
Right.
same box.
Yeah.
That's not right. Lane Thomas, Connor Joe, Blake Dunn. I think other people have complained about that too. Austin Raleigh about some of these being dark. Trevor McGill and Michael McGreevy and Paul Blackburn.
And Rafi.
Rafi, stars of MLB. All right, what we got? 4 more packs in this one? All right. There's got to be something in here. Something decent, right? I hope.
Well, if you've got a kid who is a big Rafi fan, put it, slap a comment in, say and draw, and your kid could be happy.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, hey.
Here's another grapefruit. JJ Baudet. Now there's a guy,
That's
right?
That's a nice shot right there.
Right. Now JJ Baudet, and I don't know how many of you guys have been following him.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Are you kidding me?
Back to back, yeah, but that one's a grapefruit one. This one's just a regular issue. JJ Baudet. But Baudet is one of these guys that came up with Miami. Got traded to Oakland and was a high draft pick. I think he was a first round draft pick. And he didn't really blossom with the A's. So the A's let him go and he went to Cincinnati. He signed a minor league contract and had a great spring training. They didn't even bring him up for spring
Crazy.
coming out of spring training. They sent him down to the minors, and then they finally brought him up about 3 weeks ago, something like that. And all he's done is hit since he's been there. He's hitting 300 now. He's got like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 home runs. I don't remember how many, but he's a guy that I was watching along with 3 or 4 other guys. Eloy Jimenez is another guy who got who's in much better shape. He's um, hitting for a higher average, less strikeouts, and so on. And so there's I don't know 3, 4 more guys like that. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Brian De La Cruz is another guy had a good spring training, but he couldn't tie on with the Mets yet, and not the Mets, Phillies. And then Christian Pache is another guy. So yeah, there are guys out there, but Dave's one of those guys that I think he's a late bloomer. The first 2, 3 years he just kind of just couldn't find it. But Otto Lopez, talking about guys that are pretty good players. How about Otto Lopez? He's ripping it up for Miami. They're playing good ball right now. Then you got Leody Taveras, Michael Toglia, and Xander. There we go.
Yeah, you got to tip those.
Yeah, those
down.
gold ones.
Have to go down.
Yeah, Aaron Shunk, Nate Evaldi. Yeah, what do we got here? We got we got the Yankees. Look at that. Yeah, great. Moving along. Tyros Estrada, Tyler Phillips, and what's in the back here? If I can get it. Sheesh, come on, baby. It's not stuck, but it's. There we go. Finally. Oh,
Willie Mays.
1990.
Look at that.
Willie Mays. Yep. Yeah, these 1990s. I never really liked this set. I never when they first came out. As a younger adult, I didn't like the set, but I like that card.
I was gonna say, but say hey.
Yeah, that's a pretty common. I mean, that's I think it's like 100 in there or something like that.
Yeah, but
Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee, who, by the way, folks, if you didn't know, he was named after Brooks Robinson.
Yeah.
Brooks Robinson only had 16 Gold Gloves. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just 16.
And the blue eyes he had.
Great player. World Series champion. Just a fantastic human being.
Yep.
We met him down in Worcester. It was great. Next pack. American League, the Houston Astros. Yeah. And Chris Sale. That was a bad trade for us. Yeah.
We had to wrap him in bubble wrap.
Oh my God. He was hurt every time. Fell off his bike and everything. Kevin Gosman.
Cut his finger.
Kenta Maeda.
Making salad.
Mike Yastrzemski. He's had a pretty good run over Atlanta, huh?
Yep.
Chase McDermott. Ketel Marte. Yeah. Give him the old shuffle to second base, looks like. Shohei. There it is. Got to get the right angle. Shohei.
See, and again, if you got a kid who likes Shohei, you can get this card for free.
All right, Brandon Pfaadt. Clayton Kershaw.
Kershaw's a good one.
Yeah, he's all done.
And Julio.
Stars of MLB. Thank you very much. 2 more packs. So there's been a lot going on. I mean, I like the way Atlanta's playing. Philadelphia, after they fired their manager, huh? Taking off.
Yep.
Yeah, they lost. What's his face to. There's Otto Lopez again. To an injury, the big home run hitter. I'm trying to think of who that is right now. Yeah.
That's
anyway,
a nice little card you got at the beginning of there.
Yeah, another
Bobby Witt and.
Oh yeah, the leaders card.
Yeah.
Yeah, average leaders.
Yeah,
Bobby Witt.
That's a nice card right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Judge was hitting 400 for a while that year, and he couldn't hold it. But still, if you got a power hitter that hits like, let's say 340, 350, they're gonna knock in, big time runs and have a lot of home runs. That's exactly what he did. Mackenzie Gore, Yordan Alvarez, Dylan Moore, Pedro Pajes, Brant Herter, Sonny Gray.
Now, I like Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny
I
Gray.
really like.
He's been great for us.
I like him on the mound. I don't like listening to
Oh,
him
it's painful.
go
Zach
through
DeCenzo.
an interview. I've he wants so hard to get just the right word that he just struggles. But he's a hell of a pitcher. He's done a nice job for
He
us.
certainly has. And you know what?
Really
Everywhere
has.
he's gone, he's won.
Yep.
Everywhere he's gone.
He's a winner.
St. Louis, Oakland, Yankees, anywhere. The guy just wins. And he doesn't wow you with 95 miles an hour. He doesn't try to blow it by you. He's a control pitcher, kind of like Maddox, kind of like Glavine, those types of guys. You know, they always find a way to get you out. They up, down, in, out, change speeds all the time, right? Soften it up, zip one by you at 91 when you're not expecting it.
And you can see how much he cares.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah. There's Jason Tatum first pitch. Um, throwing it out. He doesn't look like an athlete there, does he?
No, he
It
does
looks
not.
terrible. He looks like he's never
That's
thrown
all
a
right.
baseball before. This is a guy that's one of the top NBA players, and he doesn't even look like he's. It looks like it's a struggle. You know, it looks like he's throwing it with the wrong hand.
I was just gonna say maybe he's a lefty.
It's like, what is going on here?
I
Right?
don't know.
Bush Stadium. Well, what's he doing at Bush Stadium? Why isn't he at Fenway Park? You know, come on, man. You're a Celtic. Get with it.
And it was Gunnar Henderson to finish it off.
Yeah, Gunnar Henderson started the MLB.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Last pack of this blaster box. So far, we got not a whole lot to show for anything. So let's see what we got in this one.
Well, the Willie Mays card.
Yeah, but there's nothing right. There's not a card to really celebrate in there. You know, like something to say, oh, hey, that's a pretty good insert or whatever.
Yeah, well,
Cody Bellinger, Marcus Stroman, Yankee.
Wilson.
Yeah, Jacob Wilson. There's a good rookie card right there. Jacob Wilson. Solid player. He's not doing as well this year right now, but he had a great 2025. Will Warren and Michael Tuckman and Jazz Chisholm. What we got here? We got Taylor Ward with the Orioles now. Michael Garcia and Seth Brown. And what do we got here? Well, it's not numbered, so. Oh, it's a rainbow foil. Gabriel Marino. Gabby. So there's a rainbow foil. Nothing major, but we'll take that. We'll set that aside. Something to write home about. And Christian Yelich. Stars of MLB. All right. So that's that. Now let's get to this hanger box. And what we'll be looking for in here is, let's see, what we got on the back? It says somewhere in here. Oh, yeah. Let's look for the all-new Diamante base card parallels. I think there's like 2 or 3 in there, so see what we can find. They'll be real sparkly, silvery. Sometimes they're pink. Some black ones in there, and all that kind of good stuff. All right. So not too much in that blaster. But again, a lot of those blasters, from what I've seen and what I've watched, haven't been really productive.
Well, we've been saying it.
Right.
You know?
All the time. That top stinks. But you know what? I haven't bought any 2026, I can tell you that. And I don't plan on buying any. You know why? Because it stinks. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the effort. I know there's a bunch of people out there that still open this stuff, but I can't even open this, so.
Would you like me to try?
Jeepers, come on.
Yeah, with my thumb.
There we go. Wow. What'd they do? Like, seal that with...
Super glue.
Right. It's unbelievable.
Hey, they don't want you to get into it.
No, they don't.
It's that bad.
Wow. All right, folks.
No, it better be good. Better have something
yeah,
good in there.
there's got to be something good in here. If
Something.
they're making me work this hard to get it open.
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right, so we'll go through these pretty quickly. I mean, I haven't really seen this set at all, but, you know, we'll roll through them fairly quick. Bassett, we got some leaders here. And RBI leaders, we got Judge, Ramirez, and Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker's a real good player, too. And Tyler Stevenson, Zach Wheeler again. Mena, we saw him. We saw Brennan. Dylan Cease, we saw him. McGreevy, and Paul Blackburn. We saw him. This is the same Estrada, Tyler Phillips, Fott.
Kershaw.
Yeah, Kershaw again. We haven't seen this one. Randy Rosarina and Hunter Fiducia. Fiducia. Wait a minute. How do you say that? He played for
Fiducia?
Team Italy. Played for Team Italy. I think it's Fiducia.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't speak Italian.
Yeah, right. Me neither. Jock Peterson, Vinny Pasquantino, Ryan.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, Pasquatch. Another Team Italy guy. Ryan Helsley. They were pretty good
They were.
in the World Baseball Classic. It was fun watching that. I love that.
That was a great
Yeah.
time.
Pedro Leon and Ryan Thompson. Tommy Edmond, he's been out like all year. I haven't seen him at all for Brandon Lau. Rhett Lauder, rookie. He's a good young pitcher for the Reds. They got two over there. Kelnick bouncing around still. He's with somebody. Kelnick. I just saw him the other day. Joey Ortiz. He just showed up. Yes. He was with the Braves for a while. Then they let him go, and then he was with Seattle originally, and then right. Will Smith, good catcher. Jose Caballero. He had a good run right off the bat with the Yanks. Was it with the Yanks? Caballero? I think so. Yeah. Nico Cavadas, Logan Hoppy. Oh, we got a gold card. Wow. That's a good one. Finally, we're gonna get something decent. I hope it's a good player. Eric Fetty, Zebby Matthews, Tristan Casas still hasn't played a game in a while. Wow.
He's still trying to become that little cloud reader.
Yeah, right. I've never seen a guy who touted himself more about
How good he is.
how good he is, and he hasn't done anything really. Cabot Ruiz, and coming up on the stuff here. Let's see. Hopefully, it's going to be a good hanger box. Dodgers swagger. You got looks like Betts and maybe not sure who else is there. Pajas maybe. I don't know. Gavin Sheets, Clay Holmes, and Seth Brown. Well, not your best one, but it's a gold card, huh? We like that. And that is numbered, of course. And it is numbered to 2025. We'll sleeve that up in a minute. Let's see what else we got here. Well, I guess we'll have to go this way. Jeepers, come on. All right.
Ooh.
Yeah, those are the Diamantes. Oh, there's
Yeah.
well. All right, call to the hall. Roberto Clemente. That's a nice
There you
shot.
go, that's a
That's
nice
a nice one of Roberto. Call to
Okay.
the hall.
Let's
Yeah,
leave that one up.
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, we'll sleeve that up. Why not? And then we got Stars of MLB. We got a bunch of those. And then we have a 1990 right here. It's about the fourth time I've turned these over. Okay, hey, Aaron Judge. So we got Mays and Judge. That's pretty good for 1990. I mean, I know they're pretty common, but Devers, Wood, Corey Seager, and
Yeah, Vladdy.
Vladdy, Stars of MLB, and then we got the Diamantes. Sean Reynolds. These are the regular ones. These aren't gold or anything like that. They're not numbered. Cal Quantrill. We get a couple of those. And then the rest of these are base. Reese Hoskins, Corey Seager, and San Diego Padres Celebration. And Max Schumann, Jake Berger, Dave Festa, Matt Verling, Lamont Wade Jr., Joey Cantillo, Mauricio Debon, and last two are Luis Castillo, and finally Tyler Gentry. So we did get one numbered card. That's a step in the right direction. We will take that. And we got a nice call to the hall. Roberto. Seth Brown and Gabby Marino and the rainbow foil. Let's just put a couple of sleeves on those guys. Dial them in a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, look, I've seen times where I've watched people open up 10 blasts, no, not 10 blasters, but 10 hangers and not even get a gold card. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been that rough. So at least we did hit a little pay dirt there, and who knows? Maybe we'll get something else good, right?
You never know.
We still
Boy,
got.
when we first started doing our videos, we kept defying the odds
Yep.
on what was supposed to be. So if you haven't watched any of our videos and you're interested at all in getting some pretty good stuff, go back and check out some of our earlier videos.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because there's some pretty good stuff there, and all you have to do is mention the word drawing.
Yeah, and just for the record, for all of you that might have just be tuning in now or have found us in the YouTube stratosphere.
Universe.
I mean, yeah, multiverse. I mean, the problem, folks. The problem here is that when people look for content, for baseball content, because of the algorithm, it basically keys them in on all of these guys that have a lot of views and a lot of subscribers. And for smaller channels that are trying to develop, they don't really get a lot of that access that these other larger channels get. And unfortunately, those bigger ones like Jeff Wilson. I'm not a big fan of Jeff Wilson or Pac-Man or any of these other guys, other big ones, because I just don't think the knowledge base is there. But anyway, if you just found us, great. We're happy to have you along. But yeah, all these videos that we've done, I think this is our like 25th video or something like that. We've been opening up I think all but one. I did a little public service announcement, but the other 24, we open up cards and we pulled some pretty nice stuff. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to go have to figure it out for yourself, but pulled some pretty significant autographs. Let's just pull it that way, and some other good stuff too. So, all right, now we're going to transition into our on the docket section, and we really like this part of this segment of the video, because we get to talk about all different things, and we get to cover, whether it's talking about fanatics or talking about a player or talking about Major League Baseball in general, or any of those types of things. There are all kinds of good topics to consider sharing a conversation or having a conversation about. So tonight, we're going to be talking about a lot of these so-called phenom players that have come up in the last, let's say 4, 5, or 6 years, somewhere in that range, about the last 6 years. And we may go further back just to kind of give somebody who might have lived in that time frame to look at some of these other players. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're talking about, and you've probably already seen by our thumbnail, that we're going to be talking about Luis Robert Jr. and what's called the Underachievers. And so these are guys that we'll give you the scoop on them as we get into this PowerPoint presentation, the slide presentation, and you'll be able to see how just the difference between, let's say, a guy like him and other players that are of similar ilk to this guy. And so let's go over there now. Let's take a look at the slide presentation, and we'll go back and forth and we'll walk you through this.
And we always encourage comments too.
Hang on a second. Let me just go back here for 1 second. All right. Boom. All right. There we go. And yeah. Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
1 second. Yep. Okay. That's better. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to bring up the slide presentation here and start slideshow. Let's see. Right. There we go. From the beginning. All right. Sorry about that. Just had to let it go in. Okay, so here's our boy. Here's Luis Robert. Remember me? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember you. And this is a guy that in August of 2020, we'll give you a little rundown on him. He batted 298, 356, 660, right? On base percentage, OPS, including 7 doubles, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases over 26 games. Yeah, baby. He won the American League AL Rookie of the Month award, his first monthly award in the major leagues. Overall, in 2020, he batted 233, 302, and 436 over 202 bats. Now, you might look at that stat and say, well, that's nothing to write home about. And that's true. There it is nothing to write home about. And in fact, it's pretty poor. But he did have a lot of success, and 2020 was his first year in the majors. So he had his first postseason home run in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series against the Oakland Athletics off Mike Fiers. He's 800. I wish it was 800. That would be something to talk about.
Yeah.
487-foot home run was the longest postseason home run in White Sox history. He also won the Gold Glove Award for center field, becoming the second White Sox player in history to win the award in his rookie season. Robert also finished second in the balloting for AL Rookie of the Year award, losing to Kyle Lewis of the Seattle Mariners. And by the way, just a little fun fact about Kyle Lewis, he's out of baseball right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had one really good year, and then he dropped off of the cliff. And
Underachievers.
Wow, yeah, another underachiever. That maybe we'll do him down the road. Who knows? All right, so from budding star to declining performer. Now, in front of you, we have all of the stats, up-to-date stats within about a week or so. I we're up north for a while, so when I finish this, I think Robert's still on the IL, but these are fairly current. And when you look at his stats, particularly look at the 2021 season where he hit 338 right here. And his OPB was 378, slugging percentage was 567, and his OPS was 945. Now, the rest of his numbers weren't great because he didn't really have a lot of games, only 68 games. But in 2022, you could see that he was starting to have an impact offensively, where he had 108 hits, 12 home runs, which isn't really a lot to write home about, but 56 RBIs, and so on. But his average, 284 still. So decent numbers in a small sample size, 98 games, about 2/3 of the season. But in 2023 is when he broke out. 144 hits, 296 total bases, 36 doubles, and then 38 home runs, 80 RBIs. And he only hit 264. And that's pretty common with guys who have big home run numbers. A lot of them, if their average drops down, usually they're hitting more home runs, but less for average. And it's a rare player that can hit for high average with power and good OPS and a lot of hits, doubles, triples, that type of thing. Score a lot of runs, steal your bases. And, he steals bases. I mean, his stolen base totals have come up every year, 20, 23, 33. The problem is that everything else has gone the other way. So when you look at 2024, 2025, and now 2026, and again, 2026 is a very small sample size. But when you look at 2024 and 2025, he was only hitting 14 home runs and, and just 35 and 53. And this is in 100 games, 110 games compared to the 98 here, which, his numbers were somewhat better, slightly better in some categories. But, the strikeout numbers are up, right? With only 40 walks. So it's like a 3-to-1 scenario, 340, yeah. About 3 strikeouts to every walk scenario, which is pretty bad, right? And so, so this is a guy that every year since 2023 has gone downhill. And his numbers, every major category has dropped for him, except for stolen bases. So his average has dropped. Let's use 284 and be kind. His average has dropped 61 points. His OPS is about where it was for his career. Let's say a little bit lower. And then you got slugging percentage, OPS. I mean, decent but not great. So this is a guy that when you looked at his 2023 numbers, you thought, okay, this is the White Sox thought this is the guy that they were getting, and unfortunately, he never really has come to fruition. And now he's with the Mets, and he's struggling with the Mets, and he's always, he's been hurt a lot, so that slowed him. And we're going to get into some of the reasons why we think that his performance has really declined. So let's go to the next slide, and we're going to give you a couple other guys that are like that I would say, in my estimation, they came up around his time in 2021, I believe, and but these guys started off not so well, but have been getting better every year. So let's take a look at that. And there's a correlation here that we're going to get to it at the end of this. So stay with us. All right. So let's talk about what happened. Right. Just a quickie on Mr. Roberts here. From 2024 to 2026, the offensive numbers have dropped off the map. I think everybody saw that with the stats we just put up there. Once the surrounding cast fell apart, and he had a good surrounding cast for a while, he had Jose Abreu there. He had Tim Anderson, who was a batting champ there. He had Eloy Jimenez that was putting up a lot of power, and other guys that were really helping for him to get better pitches to hit. But once those guys left, he became exposed. The flaws were evident, from plate discipline to lower power numbers to higher strikeout rates as well as injuries. All of these were contributors to the decline. And at 28, the clock is ticking. So when you're a younger guy, when you're 23, 24, and you're a high draft pick, you're given more leniency than a lot of other guys that are second round or third round or fourth round picks, because the signing bonus is there. Maybe you've signed him to a longer term contract, that player, for like 5, 6, 7 years. So you're trying. So what you saw in 2023, you're hoping to
continue to get.
Right, to continue that trend. And right now, White Sox never saw it, so they traded him away to the Mets. Now the Mets are hoping they're going to get the 2023 Luis Robert Jr. and not the 2025 Luis Robert Jr.
He's got a better surrounding cast with the Mets.
No question.
So maybe they will.
Soto, all those guys.
If he can be healthy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's part of the issue.
But keep in mind,
you're only as good as your surrounding cast.
Well, yes, but I think some guys have that ability to
hold it on their own.
They're built differently, right? They're made differently. They have different skill sets, different intangibles, and we'll get to that. Next slide. All right. So if you don't know who these two guys are, I'll give you a little hint. The guy on the left is Joe Adell, and the guy on the right is Dalton Varsho. Now, both of these guys came up in 2021. Both of these guys, their rookie seasons or thereabouts. They might have had a cup of coffee in 2020. I can't remember, but they're both guys that I would say have similar skill sets to Luis Robert. Maybe not in every facet, but in a lot of ways they're very similar type players. So let's go to Joe Adell first. So here's Adell's stats. Now look at the first 4 years of Joe Adell, and granted, it's a small. 3 of those years is a very small sample size. Only the 2022 year he had any amount of real at bats, right? 268 at bats. And you don't see a lot of production there. 3 home runs, 4 home runs, 8 home runs, right? These are the kind of things you look for. You look for total bases. Hang on a second here. Total bases. You look for doubles, hits, home runs, on base percentage. You want to get a lot of walks too. You want to be able to have a high concentration of walks, which proves that you have good plate discipline. And in 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, he floundered between, let's say, minors and majors. Maybe because there wasn't a spot, maybe because they didn't think it was ready, maybe because they think he needed
Seasoning.
more seasoning, more experience, more concentration at the plate, to prove the other parts of his game defensively, maybe plate discipline, uh, bat to ball skill, those types of things. But one thing that he must have kind of taken to heart here was after 2023, all of a sudden you start to see the work really pay off. And I remember reading something about him where there was an article somewhere that I read that he said that, he went back, he worked with a couple of different hitting coaches and revisited, you know, reacting to working on hitting curveballs, working on hitting sliders and off speed stuff. I guess that was his his demon. So he went back and worked on those skill sets, worked on his defensive prowess, and all of a sudden in 2024, here he comes, right? So in 2024, he had 20 home runs, 62 RBIs, 35 walks, so all career highs, strikeouts as well. And but his strikeouts are similar to Luis Robert. You can see about 3.5 to 1. But his average was the thing that wasn't moving in 2024. Now look at the next year, 2025. Now he's up about 29 points, but the home runs are up. 37 home runs, 98 RBIs. He's a bona fide power hitter, ladies and gentlemen. And the hits are up, right? 124 doubles are up. Not a lot of triples, but that's not the kind of hitter he is. He's not blessed with like this Jaron Duran speed. But look at the slugging and OPS again coming up the ladder, 485 and 778. His OPS his on base percentage is just around 300, but you can see he's working on it. You can see the little improvements every year: 258, 280, 293, 310, and the slugging percentage is pretty solid, and the OPS is pretty solid. So he's clearly improving his game, and he's also improving his defensive game as well. So this is a guy that's gone the opposite direction that Luis Robert has gone. Luis Robert started out hot and then faded off, and Joe Adell never quit, and he worked on his game year in, year out, day in, day out, and now he's become a real solid hitter, contributor to his team. So there's one example of a guy that nobody really talked about a whole lot. In 2021, they talked about him a little bit. I heard a little bit about Adell, but nowhere near the amount of fanfare that a guy like Luis Robert has. Now we get to Varsho. Now, Varsho is a little bit of a different kind of player in that he does a lot of things good, and he's not great, but he's a good player. He has a lot of skill set that he can apply to his game. And what I mean by that is when you look at his stats early on in 2020 and 2021, the numbers, were just so-so, right? And he has the same problem that Joe Adell does, where his average suffers. And that's one of the areas that I think he wanted to cut down, and he wanted to cut down the strikeouts too and get more walks. But in 2022, you could see the home run total start to come. His last year in Arizona, 27, 74. And then with Toronto, again, 158 games, 20 home runs, 61 RBIs, 45 walks. So the walk totals are there. Also in 2024, again, 18 home runs, 2025, 20 home runs. So he's a solid 20 home run guy. And again, 136 games in 2024. So, if he plays, let's say 155, you probably can get, if he's got good players around him, he can probably give you, I would say, 60, maybe 70, 80 RBIs on a really good year.
Yeah,
But
because I mean, you look at 2024 and 2025, almost cut the number of games in half,
mhm,
and yet his home runs were more, and his RBIs were about the same,
some
even
of
though
that
they
was,
played like half.
yeah, some
You
of that
know,
was injury, I believe,
right?
in 2025.
5,
Right.
right. But I'm just pointing out that I mean, he played in half as many games, and his production, home run wise, 2 more, RBIs,
Yep.
3 less, and half as many games.
Right.
You know,
Right.
um, his strikeout total, eh,
Yeah, his
was was
strikeout
not good,
totals,
but
right. His strikeout totals are about what? What's about
1 to 4 in 2025,
yeah,
whereas it was like,
but better in 24, right?
but
I
in
mean, well,
24,
a
right?
little bit better in
Yeah,
24. 25, it's in a limited amount of games, 71 games. So that's really not a fair assessment.
right.
He might
It's
have been
hard.
coming off injury, and he
Yep.
might have had the late spring training or something like that. I can't remember the exact.
But a very solid player for someone who was never really talked about
Right.
much.
But the one thing you can look at right here is you can see his average starting to come up.
Yep.
220, 235, he was, 246, 220. But then the last couple years, though not great, 250 is the highest average he's ever had. So you can tell that, again, just like Joe Adele, they have more emphasis on improving their overall game. And I think that's where Luis Robert has kind of fallen down. I mean, Luis Robert has the skill sets, but he hasn't really, taken those skill sets to his advantage or used those skill sets to his advantage, and that's a real problem. So, I'm telling you this about these two guys because I want to show you how some people who hyped a guy like Luis Robert, and that's what we heard back in 2021, right? For all you card collectors out there, which is basically the point I'm trying to make here, is there was a lot of fanfare around a guy like Luis Robert, but not so much around a guy like Vasho or Joe Adele. Now, a couple things here, and I just want to pause this here for a second, and we're going to go back because we want to have a little. I don't need that. Thank you very much. And I want to let's see here, studio mode. Okay, let's go back here. Now I want to talk about a couple points here. Just I want to throw these by you and to our viewers out there. There are a lot of skill sets and intangibles that define a player. Okay, the great players became really good. Worked on their game night and day. The guys like Kyle Yastrzemski, the guys like Bobby Witt Jr., the guys like Willie Mays, uh, Aaron Judge, all of these players and many more like them came up through the major leagues with flaws in their game, whether it's plate discipline, whether it's defensive prowess, whether it's running the bases, whether it's defensive positioning. There are a lot of intangibles that really define a player and in many cases will make that player much, much better. Not just one level better, but 2 or 3 levels, depending on how well they adapt to those skill sets. And I wanted to talk about some of those just for a few minutes, like defensive prowess, contact percentage. So if you're a player, let's say you're a Luis Robert, just for instance, we'll use him because of his strikeouts. As a major league player, your whole job as an offensive player is to make contact. The more contact you make as a major league player, the better chance you have of getting on base via error, via hit, uh, even as a force out somewhere. You make things happen. You force guys to throw you out, and if you work on the rest of those skill sets, speed, um, understanding what pitchers are going to throw to you,
Right.
the way that your plate discipline, learning how to put yourself in good hitting positions. In other words, if you're right now struggling to recognize the the plate itself, the strike zone, then you many times will be in a position where you're 1-2, 0-2, and it's hard. It's hard because a pitcher has the advantage in that type of scenario. But if you improve your plate discipline just moderately, you can put yourself into, let's say, a 2-2 position or a 3-1 position or a 2-0 position. And now you have the advantage as a hitter because you can be very selective in how you attack that hitting zone. And a lot of times, regardless of who's behind you or who's in front of you, if you have those skill sets, if you've worked on your plate discipline, if you've worked on your bat to ball, to even in a position where you're at 0-2 and you can learn how to foul a ball off to get another pitch, those are big, big advantages to you as a hitter. And a lot of guys in the major leagues don't know how to do that. They're not taught, they may have been tried to have been taught that in the minor leagues, but it just doesn't register in the brain. So they're unable to do that. When you look at the really good players, the really veteran players, or the back in let's say the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, the 60s, when you look at Hall of Fame players, the best players that ever played the game, all of those guys had those types of instincts, those types of intangibles. And in order to become better at your trade, in this case, a major league ball player, a major league hitter, a major league player who plays the outfield or the infield or catches behind the plate, or you're a pitcher, you have to work constantly on your trade in order to get better. And it doesn't happen in one day or 1 month or 6 months or 3 years.
That I agree. I agree. But part of it is a humility and a, how do I put it? Being okay taking a walk.
Yep.
Not going outside of the strike zone just because you feel like you need to hit. You don't need to hit. You need to get on base. So if you're constantly looking to get that big hit instead of, well, you know what? They're giving me a base on balls, so I'm going to take the base on balls and keep the line moving. If they don't have that mentality and they think they have to have the big hit all the time.
Yep.
No, you can't. You're not going to get the big hit if you're chasing outside the zone.
Right.
And I think some, and more than usual, I think, and I could be wrong. This is just my opinion, that these kids that are brought up and told how great they have a hard time with not trying to overachieve. Like they're up in a crucial situation. Oh, I got to hit the home run. And they don't learn to cut down their swing. They don't learn to, you know what? If they're going to give me a walk, I'll just take the walk and let the next guy do it. They just don't have that mentality. I think they're too, I want to say full of themselves, but that's a little bit harsh.
Maybe
But
situational awareness. How about
yeah,
that?
that's probably a better way to put it. But I think some of them do have such a big ego because they've been told how great they are for umpteen years that they can't put themselves as part of the team when they're up in a big situation like that.
Well, and I will just say this to everybody out there. Having situational awareness, being a study of the game, understanding when you're at bat, if you have base runners on, what your job is, what your thought process is, what your understanding of the game is. If you have a deep understanding of every part of your game, and I would just say that there are such things as six tool players, right? Because the five tools, and I've talked about this a bunch of times, the five tools is you're a good hitter, right? Average wise, you hit for average, you hit for power, you run the base as well, you have good speed, good or better than average speed. You have you're a good defender, and you have a strong throwing arm, right? So you're a good defender. You have good defensive positioning, awareness of where you are. Always know what's going on in the game, how many outs there are, who's running on second base, who's running on first base, or if you're up at bat, who's on, who you're. If there's anybody on base, where are they? What type of players are they? And you can use that to your advantage both ways. And having a situational awareness of what's going on all the time gives you a real advantage, as well as all your skill sets, right? If you're a good base runner and you make contact, well, the chances of you getting on base are pretty good.
Yep.
Because if you're making contact all the time, if your contact ratio is very high, like a guy like Luis Ariz, then you can see how that translates into a higher batting average. Not necessarily power wise, but it could. It could, because for a guy like Judge, it does. But for a guy like Luis Ariz, who wants to be a contact hitter, who wants to, flatten his swing out to be able to, and you're starting to hear a lot of this. I've been talking about this for a while, but you have to have a flat swing in order to have high percentage of contact. In other words, you're driving into the ball. So if the ball's here, you can meet that ball. If the ball's down here, down by your knees, you can meet that ball. You have the ability to follow through on your swing, so you're driving the ball straight and not chopping it, not getting under it, not popping the ball up, not weakly grounding it. Your job is, and I don't know why more baseball players don't do this, major leaguers, is to hit the ball hard every time. If you hit the ball hard every time, yes, you're going to make outs, of course. But if you're making hard contact 9 out of every 10 at bats, you're going to be on base a lot of the time. That's a guarantee.
Yes, Jimmy Rice.
Yeah, right.
Jimmy Rice says that all the time.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
Gee, he wasn't a good hitter.
No, only hit MVP in '78, 406 total bases. Pretty hard to do. So yeah, so those are, like I was saying before, those are good you got to have instinct, and instinct, ladies and gentlemen, is not learned. It's not taught, it's learned. Right. You can try to teach someone instinct, but it doesn't work, right? You either have that or you don't. And a lot of guys, like a guy like during the World Baseball Classic, look at Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt was in perfect position all the time. He knew who was on the bases all the time. He knew their strengths and weaknesses, and he used those to his advantage. End of story.
Right. And did he produce offensively?
No.
No. But was he worth his weight in gold?
No question.
Absolutely.
No question
if the ball
about
was
it.
hit anywhere near him,
no
it was
question.
an out. You're out.
Right.
So
yeah. So I mean, a lot of this is just it's understanding, and that's why I say, like, a guy like Luis Robert, as opposed to, let's say, a Joe Adele or a Dalton Varsho, you have certain tendencies. And I think a guy like Varsho and Adele have started to adapt their game to look at what they were doing wrong, to improve upon those weaknesses, and to make themselves better as an overall player.
Because they had the humility,
right,
and took the time,
right,
to do it.
Right. So I just wanted to touch on those. Now we're going to get back to the video, but I just thought, for conversation, I thought that was conversation worthy to put forth those points so most of the viewing audience can see where we're going here. So let's get back to the video, the slideshow. All right, let's go.
And while he's transitioning, we do like hearing from people that might have a different opinion. Or maybe you have a player that you think would be interesting to talk about. We welcome that. So, feel free.
Well, what I would say is, look, guys, if you've got something to say it.
Yeah,
Let
we
us
don't have a
know.
problem with that.
We don't care. Look, we don't care if it's positive. We don't care if it's negative. I mean, there's going to be probably a lot of that,
Yeah.
and
If you
that's
think I'm
fine.
full of crap, okay, tell me.
Yeah, fine.
Whatever.
But all we're trying to say is we're trying to educate people here. We're trying to give you guys the tools to work with to understand the game a little bit better and to use it to your advantage. Whether you're a player, whether you watch it on TV, whether you're a a casual fan, whatever. Just so you understand that there are a lot of intangibles, a lot of skill sets that you really need in the game, in any game: hockey, baseball, football, basketball, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so we're doing the old compare and contrast here between this trio of players. First, we'll go to Luis Robert. The pros. He certainly has the most athletic ability of the three. When healthy, he's a force. But offensively and in the field, both offensively and in the field, his speed is also a plus on the bases. He's clearly the fastest guy. The cons, he's always hurt, and he hasn't figured out a way to make solid contact often enough to be dangerous. His skill sets, plate discipline, and instincts are his downfalls, and whether or not he can figure it out at 28 could be the biggest challenge for him at a crucial point of his career. Once the darling of the league, if unsuccessful, he'll probably be out of the big leagues for good in the next couple of years. I think that's a fair statement. I'm not saying he's going to be out, but I think there's a high likelihood if he fails here in New York, then, his chances to stay in the major leagues dwindle. Dalton Varsho. He has a ton of good qualities. First and foremost, he's versatile, which is what I love about him. And he is a classic overachiever. I think that's true as well. I think he's an overachiever. He gives you ample pop with the bat and quality defense on the field. And we watched that in action when Toronto was playing the Red Sox. He made several nice running plays in the outfield, particularly center field, where you wouldn't think of him as a center fielder. But again, this guy can play all over the place.
You look at him and he does not look like your prototypical center fielder.
Right. And so he's really good wherever you put him.
Yeah.
He can also come off the bench and be a difference maker with his average slugging percentage while his average slugging percentage and OPS continue to rise with career highs in 2025. So everything's good there. There's not a lot you can say, well, this is, his slugging percentage isn't very good. No, all of it is good. All of it was good, was as high in 2025. And now we come to Joe Adell. When he came on the scene in 2021, you could see the makings of things to come. The talent was there, but it was raw and unrefined. He bounced from the majors to the minors a number of times, but I could always tell he was figuring it out. 2024 was his coming out party, and he hasn't looked back since, posting career highs in, wait for it, home runs, RBIs, hits, doubles, total bases, slugging percentage, and OPS in 2025. That is a huge increase, a huge over the top increase to his game than ever before. Not to mention his major improvements in the outfield. So he's become a real complete ball player. And I mean, just look at that game he had where he robbed 3 people in one game of a home run. Now, that tells you all you need to know about this guy as far as how hard he's worked on his game, both offensively and defensively.
He was hungry.
Right. So he's on a mission, folks. So take cover and keep your head down. And finally, we get to this is my little summary here. So I get to say a couple things. Now I want to talk about card collecting just for a minute, because I think a lot of you guys are probably card collectors. I know I am, and I'm sure most of you probably are too. With reference to card collecting, I'd like to touch base on a few subjects, so bear with me. In today's crazy sports card world, when you have to listen to a so called 18 or 23 or 25-year-old influencer around every corner, on every social media site, at every card show, or every TikTok video we see, let me just take a minute to point out the obvious. One, the majority of these people have little or no knowledge when it comes to the hobby. That's a fact. Two, most of them have never participated in a sport, let alone having accomplished any success in playing it. And I would just say on that point, you should have some playing experience so you can talk about the game confidently. Number three, experience is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. And I never listen to anyone that puts a check mark next to these three aforementioned skill sets. Ever. Ever. Now, if you possess any or all of the necessary skill sets to navigate your way in the world of collecting, put in the years of hard work and effort when it comes to the hobby, familiarize yourself with the tricksters, the Johnny come latelys, the bozos, the grifters, and the fly by night sketchy operators, the show kings, the canceled winning bids, and the fleecing practices that exist on virtually every media platform. Well, then, congratulations, my friends, because you have arrived. Now, do me a favor and spread the word. I think those are pretty good words to live by. And I hope that all of you will do the same and spread the word and help out other people out there that are don't have the knowledge or understanding of the game like many of us do. And I just think that a lot of this intersects the players, the hype, the the FOMO, all of that from year to year, player to player, set to set, release to release. So just keep that in mind, those types of things, and when we're talking about skill sets and intangibles and all that, and use that to your advantage because it's a real powerful tool. So we're going to leave it right there. We're going to go into the last part of our video, which is one blaster box and one hanger box. And we'll see, hopefully we'll get something decent in each of these. Something more than a gold card.
No,
but
we'll see.
We shall see. All right, let's get going here. Yeah, I love watching the sport, as you guys have probably already figured out.
We watch a lot of baseball.
I played at a fairly high level, not major league, but played with a lot of good players, some ex-major league players. Whoop, watch out, man. And really had a great time. So much fun playing around really good ball players. I got to travel with a lot of these guys, and it was so much fun. I mean, we had such a great time. I learned a lot. We had a lot of shared experiences. It was really, really great. All right. First card, Greg Jones, Jordan Beck, and followed by Jackson Merrill again. We've seen this. Anthony Rendon, Josh Young, Cabarinos. Another celebration there. Let's see here. We got Geraldo Perdomo, great player. He was right up there in the MVP voting last year. Really solid player for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Another guy that doesn't get a lot of love, right? So Oscar Hernandez, Brady Singer, Dylan Cease, Michael McGreevy, and a sand glitter, Brian Wu, really good pitcher. Set that aside. I like Wu.
And Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt, stars of MLB. Here we go. Second pack. You know, the Rays have really been
Ripping it.
killing it, haven't they? Man, they are.
You think?
Talk about a team that plays a lot of small ball, right? And you know,
Mhm.
like Milwaukee,
I
another team.
love to see small ball.
Yep. Well, you like to see that use all
I
their
like to see good ball.
right. Cody Bellinger with the Cactus League. Not the yeah, is it yeah, it's Cactus League. Yeah. Ronel Blanco, Mitch Garver. I mean, spring training stuff. Boy, how many times are we gonna see Misner? Huh? That's the third time we've seen him. Holy cow! Wow.
Well, Dylan Cease, we've seen him
Yeah.
several
JJ
times. Too.
Baudet, Ahmed Rosario, Adrian Del Castillo, Mason Wynn. First time we've seen him. Grant McCray.
Nice bubble.
Yeah. And Paul Blackburn again. Estrada. And what's this? Call to the Hall. Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Willie Dilly. There he is, folks.
It's a good one.
Yep. Great San Francisco Giant. A little bit of Mets at the end. And Acuna. There. All right. Now pack number 3. Coming at you. Yeah, it's, you know, it's funny. You see a lot of these guys for the Red Sox. Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. We're still waiting for those guys to really take off. They haven't done it yet. And Roman Anthony's still battling a sprained ligament in his ring finger. Wow. That's bad. I'm sorry.
Trot Nixon would still be out there playing.
Oh my God. I would be out there playing, you know.
Come on.
You know, RBIs again. Otani, Adames, Machado. David Hamilton.
He played hard for us.
Yeah. Otto Lopez again. Leody Taveras. Astros. Chris Sale. Andrew Benintendi.
He played hard for us.
Sanchez, really good pitcher for the Phillies. He's probably their ace, I would say right now. He's been great. He always pitches. Every time we see him, he knocks it down. Very few hits. Tyler Phillips, Brandon Pfaadt,
Juan Soto.
with the Oakleys, I think. All right, pack number 4, right? 7 packs. Pack number 3. Oh, 7 packs, right? Yeah. Pack number 4. There we go. That's better. Get another. We got Cactus League again? Yep. No. Grapefruit. Grapefruit League. Yankees. Yankees. Marcus Stroman. Lane Thomas. Starling Marte. Ellie De La Cruz. And Colin Ray. Kevin Gossman. Who we got here? Average hitters again. Yep. Yeah, Witt, Guerrero, Judge. Adele Amador. And Brian Rocchio. Clayton Kershaw. Sonny Gray again. What's this going to be? A 1990. Olivas Martinez. And Matt Chapman. So far, pretty ordinary.
Pretty blasé.
Pretty uneventful. Come on. There we go. Come on now. Give us something.
Crazy
what do you
card
say?
again.
Let's give us something. I know. Look at how high those guys are. Especially, that's got to be, I don't know if that's the...
They had to, patch those together.
They're really up there.
Yeah, they patched those together or something.
I don't know.
Photoshop.
Yeah, it could be.
Photoshop.
Andrew Vaughn. Judge again. Ruff Snyder. Alvarez. Francisco. Mackenzie Gore again. And flying high in Arizona. Brian De La Cruz, the guy we were talking about earlier. Tyler Locklear, Zach DeZenzo. Haven't heard much from DeZenzo. Seth Brown, Aaron Judge. Stars of the Melody. 2 more. I mean, hey, we did get 1 gold card. That's something. It's been
Well, we got some more coming. We got some more coming.
it's been rough so far, but you never know. We might get strike lightning here. Zach
Listen,
Wilson, that's Cactus, and Nacho Alvarez again. Connor Joe, Bellinger, Stroman, Jacob Wilson, another rookie of his.
hey,
Yeah. Jose Ramirez, Emmanuel Classe, and Brett Rooker. Let's see, Nick Gordon, Taj Bradley. He was great. He's been great for Minnesota.
yeah,
4 and
pitched a
4
hell
and
of a
1,
game.
4 and 1. Shohei, greatest hits. There he is. First 50-50 player in history with all-time game. Wow, 50-50. It's pretty impressive. And Ellie. Stars of MLB. Well, 1 more here. Then we got the...
And we got a hanger.
Got a hammer yet. Let's get a hammer. All right. Final pack of this blaster box. Blake Dunn, Toglia,
Xander.
and Xander, and Key Brian Hayes, Rodriguez, Jake Rogers, Patrick Bailey, Spencer Schwellenbach, another one of the rookies we were talking about, Riley Green, and we got the Cincinnati Reds, National League, Nick Lodolo, Stars of MLB. So not much there on that one, but we do got a hanger. We got a hanger. Let's see what we got here on our final foray into 2025 Series 1. All right. Folks, thanks a lot for stopping by, checking our stuff out, checking our video out. Like I said, you got some comments, by all means, fire away. We're game. And if you'd like these cards, leave a comment. We're going to have 2 winners. We give away 2 amounts. So, if I can ever get these cards out of here. There we go. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why I can't open these up very easily. All right, here we go. I'm going to run through these. All right, Isaac Paredes. All right, we haven't seen him before. And Anthony Volpe. So there's some new guys. There's Crow Armstrong.
Crow Armstrong, that was a good one.
Boy, you got in there with a fan, huh? Oh, boy. That's not good. You have to apologize, but he's got a...
Speaking of getting into it with a fan.
Speaking of 2 guys with a hot head, there's another guy right here. Our guy, Duran. Although he's cooled it off a lot.
I wouldn't say he's a hothead.
Well, I don't know. He got a little heavy-handed there with that fan.
Well,
Spencer Steer. You know.
For good cause.
Yeah, probably. Brandon Marsh, Angel Martinez, John Gray. Hey. American League, Baltimore Orioles. They're getting the Gatorade out. Someone's getting it. Ian Henio Suarez. Yeah, we haven't seen these. Is that Freddie?
Freddie Freeman.
Oh, yeah, Freddie Freeman, right. Of course. I'm looking at the name. I'm not looking at the player. Ryan Pepio and his Connor Wong. Ryan Jeffers. Ryan Jeffers had a pretty good season so far. Jake Irvin. You know, reasonable home runs. 6-7 home runs, I think. You know, not up to leaders, but he's doing okay. ERA leaders right here. We got Sale, Wheeler, and Imanaga. Cedric Mullins coming in for the dive. I guess he lost his helmet coming around 3rd. Royce Lewis, another guy that the Twins are getting ready to send back down. Vlad Guerrero. Yeah, he was off to a good start for a while there last year, but then all the injuries. Home runs, Otani, Osuna, Schwarber. That's the guy I was
That's a
thinking of.
that's a
Schwarber.
nice card.
Right. And let's see. Orlando Arcia. And Yelich. Adolis Garcia. Adolis. Nats. I mean the Phillies. National League. That's what I meant to say. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Shea Langoliers. Another
Good
guy.
ball player.
Yep, another guy who's having a great season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really come into his own the last couple of years. Tanner Scott, Christopher Morel. What else we got here? You got the American League. Tigers, yeah. And Abraham Toro. Old friend Abraham.
He was serviceable, very serviceable for us.
Yep. Xavier Edwards.
Kept him when we needed him.
Hitting about 330. Jonah Heim. And we got the Marlins. Mount Castle. Correa. He's out for the season with ankle surgery.
Oof.
Ernie Clement. That's a big loss for Houston. Even in a diminished state, he's still a real good ball player. Home runs again, RBIs. David Hamilton again. All right, here we go. Let's see what we're going to get here. All right, let's see here. Let's do this maybe? No. Let's
Just
do
that one.
that maybe? Yeah, there we go. All right, here's the good stuff, I guess. Ben Rice.
He's a rookie.
First New York Yankee rookie to hit 3 home runs in one game. Wow, that's surprising. With
I know.
Mantle and
I know.
Gehrig and
And then he
Babe
thought he
Ruth
couldn't do
and-
anything wrong.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah.
That's
What?
crazy. Crazy town, USA, right there. All right. Let's see what we got here. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Stars of MLB. Arenado. In 1990, Albert Pujols. And then Jose Ramirez. Stars of MLB. Skeens. MLB. Shohei Ohtani. And then Stars of MLB. And then we got the two. Say we got a rainbow foil too. Willie Castro. Put that there. And Chris Bassett. Yep. And our rainbow foil is Justin Henry Malloy. Set that aside. Luis Rengifo, Brady Singer, Mason Wynn, Grant McCray, Andrew Benintendi, Christopher Sanchez, Adele Amador, Brian Rocchio again, Brian De La Cruz, Tyler Locklear, Class A. And the final card is Brett Rooker. Good way to end right there. So there you have it, folks. You know, not too much to write home about. We got a couple of rainbow foils. We got Malloy and Gabby Marino. Gabby. And then we've got the Call to the Hall. We got a Sand Glitter of Brian Wu. And our one numbered card is Seth Brown. And the Call to the Hall, Clemente. So there you have it. That's the little review on 2025 Series 1 and our thoughts on the Underachievers with the first episode having Luis Robert. So we hope you enjoyed that. If you liked what you saw, come on back and join us again for another video. And with that, we're going to head on out of here. So until next time, we will see you later. So long.